If you practice spiritual alignment, meaning that moment to moment you are going to look for the things that feel good, that feel exciting, that are joyful, the bliss, if you align your thoughts and actions moment to moment with that which resembles love, you look around and you appreciate the nature around you, the trees, the cars, the people, whatever it is. And you find activities moment to moment that are joyful to you, that are exciting, that stimulate you in a positive way. That might be painting or doing sports or poetry or reading or going with a friend for coffee. And also there you are practicing conversations that are uplifting, that are not judging others, they're not gossiping. Just things, where you constantly have your attention on the things that feel good to you. And that is a high inner discipline. And if you practice that way and create positive momentum in your emotions and in your life in general, what happens is that people who are practicing the opposite, who are drawn into blaming, judging, seeing the negative in the world, then those people will slowly drift away of your experience. And sometimes these people are your lovers, When we sometimes are attracted to someone, we are attracted because out of a need, an unconscious need, We feel like we lack love or we want attention or we want something from them. And over time in our relationship, that comes to the surface, the need, and that need is never based on spiritual alignment. It is never based on the soul. The soul doesn't need someone. The soul wants to be with someone because you want to share laughter, joy, lightness, You help each other to let go more and more of the shadow of the negativity and move consciously, make conscious choices together to see the world in the perception of the soul, which is in love. You see the other as you hold a thought about the other that is representing the highest vision of your soul. You think great about them, you love them, you appreciate them, their energy, the way they look. And together you create a joyous experience. That is a spiritual partnership, But if you haven't had that and you enter the relationship out of need and attachment and that comes up, and that is the basis of your relationship, and then suddenly you practice spiritual alignment, you work on yourself, then the other person needs to grow with you, you see. Because if they stay in the old way of attachment, of seeing the negative, as I say, you will become a vibrational mismatch. Okay? Now, here's what happens often in relationships. You practice your own alignment with the soul, with your heart. You go in that way. You see you're drifting apart. You see your lives are not anymore in harmony. Okay? They're no more aligned. Now, you become scared, maybe even guilty, and you feel like, oh no, I'm moving away, I'm leaving her or him behind. And then what you do is you go into grief, into sadness again, attachment, and you move back into the relationship because out of those emotions you are a great match with this person. And then you're back and forth. You're back in the relationship, but then you practice your own way of being, you align with your soul, you gradually move away, you grow, the other one doesn't, and you are scared again. Oh no, I'm gonna be alone. I am more a match to my inner being, but I'm no more a match to them. And that creates conflict. And the only solution here is to constantly choose yourself, your own alignment, okay? That means you might lose the person. You might, your heart might get broken because you see that they are not able to grow yet with you. But maybe they do grow with you. Maybe if you are an example and you just persist, you keep on going, aligning with your own inner being, with love, and creating a high vibration in your own system through aligning your thoughts with the soul, with love, then over time, they might see, okay, I only have one choice. Either I'm going to connect and align, and I'm also, going into spiritual alignment with my inner being, my inner flow and love, and I might end up being a great match with him and we grow together. Or I stay in my loop of negativity, of worry, of blame, of attachment, and then the person will simply go. And if that happens, you must let them go. You must stay focused on your path, on your alignment, because only if you're true to your alignment, you really attract somebody who can stay with you in that. And that will become a spiritual partnership where you grow together, you see, where you create a very big momentum of love and appreciation for this life, where you play together and have fun, and you create an intimacy that is based on a soul level and not on personality, not on worry, not on fear, not on jealousy, none of this, where you gradually move into higher dimension of vibration. But that is only possible if you stay true to yourself, okay? If you stay fully honest and fully honor your own alignment, your own path, when you really step into that power and authenticity, no matter if people leave your experience or not. Okay, so don't fall into grief or guilt or jealousy or fear when you see you're moving away from someone, because as soon as you're honest with your own vibration, as soon as you're choosing moment to moment the thought that feels best to you, this will bring you into the flow of your soul, and that flow, that river, will take you where you need to go. So the only responsibility, ability to respond, is for you to really align each thought and action to the way of your highest excitement and highest joy, and that will take care of everything else. All the rest will be added onto you. Even Jesus said it. So don't worry about your relationships. Worry about your alignment with yourself, with your highest self, following your intuition moment to moment, and see who sticks and see who falls away. It is not under your control to keep people in your experience or chase them. You never get something beneficial out of chasing another person. If you're aligned with yourself, with your highest vision of life, then the person will naturally come into your experience. And those are the relationships that really last and that can have deep intimacy based on love, okay? So simply stay true to yourself out there. Stay rooted in yourself, and remember that the happiness of somebody else is never your responsibility. Every time you try to make somebody happy, or you try to make up the misalignment they have with their inner being, if you think you're responsible for their misalignment, then you will just drive this relationship into more and more resentment and disconnection, okay? Each one in the relationship is responsible for their own alignment and happiness. And then you share it in the relationship. But every time you ignore your alignment in order to help somebody else or make them feel better, you are actually misaligned yourself. And out of that action, you never create a consequence that is beneficial for yours or the other growth. You see? You cannot help someone as long as you are misaligned. You cannot say, okay, I'm going to abandon myself. I do something that is not exciting to me, that doesn't feel right, but in order to help them, in order to make them feel less jealous or less guilty or less shameful or whatever. You never create really beneficial help. You're not of any benefit if you do that. You can only be of benefit if you're aligned with yourself, if you act out of love. And love doesn't try to make somebody else in this way feeling better. Love wants to help liberate truth in the other. And the truth is, you and everybody else, every individual, is responsible for their own happiness, for their own freedom. And that truth sometimes hurts. There is codependency finishes right there. So love means that you're just an example. You stay aligned with yourself. You make sure that you have a great experience, that you're happy, that you choose the attention and thoughts that feel best for you at any given moment. And by that example, you invite somebody else. Love is an invitation, not a forcing something upon someone else. So you invite somebody else into that vibration. But if they accept the invitation or not, that is their thing. You know, if you have an extremely jealous partner and you try to adjust your behavior in some way in order to make them feel better, you will at the end lose. Okay? If you're honest to yourself, and if you're truly honest, and let's say she's jealous, but you know that you are not cheating or anything else or flirting or leaking energy, then it's not your responsibility to make up for how they feel. But if you're dishonest with the other person and you actually wish to have somebody else or whatever, then it's your responsibility to be absolutely honest about that, you see? But don't feel like you need to take care of the other's emotions. You are there to be in alignment with yourself, and in that alignment, you're an absolute benefit to the other part. Never otherwise. So if you have that girlfriend or boyfriend who is not happy, constantly blaming, and you feel like you need to be there to make up for it, leave. Go into your own alignment. Let them be, because that's the only way for them to find their own alignment and strength. Okay? And also for you. So, yeah. Find that alignment with you. Connect with your soul. Feel your soul. Have a wonderful experience in life. Have this inner discipline to align with your true self, moment to moment. And all the rest shall be taken care of.